Welcome back to another unboxing and review video. Today I'm going to be looking at the Nextorch P84. This is a new flashlight that Nextorch have only just released. They actually had the P83 out last year, I believe, and they've upgraded the lumen output. Looks like maybe with a few other things. I'm going to have to actually have a look and check it out whether they've changed the design or not. But this flashlight has quite a few unique features. It's got this red and blue emergency flashing feature. It's got a ceramic window breaker, so these 3 ceramic beads there. They've also upgraded the LED to an XHP50.2. See what else it has in here. Type-C charging, and it's got that feature there where you've got the actual charging port underneath the bezel. This is something I've not seen before, but I found it to be really useful, really efficient, and creates that watertight seal that you can't get. Because a lot of flashlights, they have just a rubber boot that you sort of open, peel up and down, but I don't find them to be too reliable sometimes. Sometimes I just find them to pop off, weirdly enough, when you turn the flashlight on. Maybe there's a bit of pressure under there when you turn the light on, I'm not sure, but I have found that to happen. So, here you've got some specifications: white, red, blue light LEDs, maximum output 3000 lumens. Now this has an XHP 50.2 LED under there, upgraded from the previous model. And here's some of the specifications as well: 160 millimeters long, bezel 35 millimeters in diameter, and the battery tube 28.5 millimeters in diameter. So definitely pocketable. Beam distance 260 meters, and some standards here, the FL1 standards, so you know that they've been testing these flashlights properly to get their lumen output figures. 3000 lumens on high, 36 lumens on low, candela rating 17,000 candela on high, and 204 candela on low. So that's pretty good. You've got, again, some drop distance, 2 meters, can handle 2 meters drop, and it's got a 1 meter water resistance as well. 5 years warranty, which is great. So let's open it up and see what's inside. And guys, if you're new to my channel, maybe this is your first time watching, or maybe you've been watching along for a little while, do me a favor and click that like button if you're enjoying the video. Helps my video to get out to more people. And if you want to see me make more reviews and help me in my mission to get out some great quality content and reviews to everyone, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So without further ado, let's open this up. Open this top bit up. And here we have it. What you get under the hood. I'll just put the rest of this stuff away. A couple of oxygen absorbers. There you go. You've got the USB-C charging cable there. Included Nextorch lanyard, and also an instruction manual as well. So again, I love the Nextorch instruction manuals. They just make it so easy, one page. Sometimes you get multiple pages. I'll go through this a little bit later in the next final part of the video. Okay, but I just want to see what the light is, my first sort of impressions, and I am super impressed already. Let me just take this off here at the end. So here we have it, a close-up, a little bit more of a close-up of the Nextorch P84. And as usual with Nextorch, they just have this amazing finish on their flashlights. And the machining as well, second to none. Really, you can feel the difference with this and a lot of my other flashlights, especially the budget flashlights. The anodizing is just this smooth, chalky finish, and I also think it's thicker than some of the other anodization I've seen, because I tend to keep a few of these flashlights in my bag when I go out doing beam shots, and by the end of the night, when I come back, they've all been rattling around in my bag. But the Nextorch ones are always fine without any scratches. So I really like this knurling as well. Kind of a conservative design. But the anodization has a grippiness to itself on the P84. This is interesting. You've got these side switch buttons here. You've also got these 4 lights here. I think that's the battery indicator. They're slightly rubberized as well. That must be where the other red and blue lights are. Tactical bezel. Got these 3 glass breaking beads, ceramic beads here for breaking windows. Stainless steel bezel. And you can see the reflector, little orange peel reflector. Under the hood, you can sort of see it there. XHP50.2 LED. It's domed, a domed emitter. And this nice orange peel reflector. It's slightly textured orange peel reflector. So the dimples are not too visible, and I think that's nice because then you would probably get a bit of extra throw. Sometimes the orange peel effect is just too much, and it makes a very nice floody beam, but then it sacrifices on throw as well. So this is kind of a good balance in between. And no button on the end there, but the little area to put the lanyard. And the attention to detail on these Nextorch flashlights are really amazing. I mean, second to none. Even the cutouts here, they have this sort of smooth edge and circular edge on the side there, and there's no nicks or anything. It just sort of comes through like that. Very nicely designed. Let's unscrew the head and see the charging port. There you go. There's the charging port underneath. Fantastic. Nice big O-ring as well. It sort of stops past here. You can't take it past. And we can seal it back up again. Excellent. Let's have a look at the battery. And there should be a bit of insulation, plasticky thing there. Here you go. Nextorch cell, 4800 milliamp hours cell. This is a pretty standard cell they include in most of their flashlights. Don't think it's protected, doesn't say that it is. It could be. But let's have a look underneath. And it's quite a fascinating little contact there. I've not seen one like that before. It's not a spring. It's kind of like a wire that's looped around and then goes underneath that insulation plate. So, yeah, quite interesting. And I think Nextorch have modified the design of their flashlights to increase or decrease resistance and increase current flow. And that insulation around the contact on the head and maybe the contact design itself may be geared towards decreasing resistance, increasing current flow, especially when you're achieving 3000 lumens in such a small host body like this. The FL standards of 30 seconds, so it can hold the 3000 lumens for a decent period of time. Something which is important to me to find a lot of flashlights. You turn it on and the output already drops within the first 1 to 2 seconds. So there's really no point there. And the threads are nicely square cut. I'm really pleased to see Nextorch using these square cut anodized threads. It was something that I asked and gave them a bit of feedback on, actually, because I did notice some of their previous models had just normal cut threads on them. Little close up of the tail spring. Very clean looking. Got a simple little design. Not really much on the end of these because there's no tactical switch there. So let's screw this back in. Have a little play around. There's a couple of buttons. What's that button? Okay, I think that's the strobe. So that one's like the one step. That's like the one step strobe, I think. Just sort of press it and the strobe switches on. That little button. I wonder if you hold it, what happens? Oh, you hold the button, you get these red and blue flashy lights. You've got to be careful with these and get in trouble with the police around here in Melbourne, waving this thing around like that. Press and hold it again. What happens? Okay, it turns it off. So that must operate the strobe, and then these red and blue lights. And you can see here, look, there's these, tells you the battery, which is about half full. This would be pretty cool. I mean, get like an indicator if you ever needed to use it in an emergency, something like that. And you know, these flashlights are also used by law enforcement, so it does make sense that it has these two flashy lights, the red and blue at the same time. But again, you can use that for signaling. I wonder if there's a way to just have them activated on at this for a period of time, like even just the red ones or the blue ones. I think there is. I'm just going to have to figure out how to do it. So, oops, there we go. So on. Oh, look, there's a momentary switch as well. This is pretty cool. I've not seen this before in a side switch flashlight. You half press it, and it gives you a kind of turbo mode. I think that's turbo mode. On. Okay, yeah, it is turbo mode because you have it held and it's brighter, and then you press it and it gets a little bit dimmer, and then you half press the button to change modes. So that's pretty cool. Wow, I really just figured this out really without too much effort, but you know, I want to see if there's a way to maybe change these lights to just have either the red or blue on at the same time. But so far, I'm really quite surprised. I didn't expect much from a side switch flashlight, but there's a lot of innovation going in on this. It's the first time I've seen a momentary side switch on a flashlight before. You usually get it on the back end, and people are always wanting one on the back so that you can access that momentary. So you have that here. So I'm going to be doing some tests on this light. I'm going to bring it out to a dark area, a few dark areas, do some beam shot tests. I'm also going to be doing some lux tests to test the throw of the flashlight, the tint, color of the beam. I'm also going to be testing the color rendering index, which is a measure of how well you can perceive color under the light. And finally, I'll go through my final thoughts and let you know what my verdict is on this flashlight. Nextorch P84. And it's kind of funny because if you kind of press the button halfway, you get this momentary full turbo mode, which is really quite amazing. It's just complete, almost like a complete flood beam, and you can see everything in a couple hundred meters. If you press it fully, it goes down to the highest mode like that, and of course if you keep pressing it, you get down to this lowest mode, and again goes straight back to the high mode there again. So I mean, quite amazing if you think about it. And I'll go for a little bit of a stroll. I'll just demonstrate some of the other auxiliary modes now. You can sort of see it flashing. This is the flashing red and blue mode. Then you can get it to flash just red like that. It's pretty bright. You can see me. You've got the blue flashy mode like that. And then you got these two modes which just go on red. So if you just want to have a red light to, I guess you don't want to impair your night vision, you can use the red light, and the blue light by itself like that as well. They're pretty bright, and then you're back to that flashy mode as well. And the cool thing about this is that you can also get it onto that flashy mode or whatever mode you want to attract attention, like maybe just this one. And you can activate the actual light itself, the XHP50. So you can activate both at the same time, which I thought was pretty cool. P84. Decent flood beam. Welcome back. So I want to talk about some of my final thoughts about using this flashlight. I think it's important always for me to actually carry this thing around, use it in the real world, and see how it actually functions. So this is going to help you to decide whether this light is right for you. So make sure you hang around and watch this last section. Overall, the light generally impressed me. There are a lot of gimmicky lights around, and the red and blue lights, these flashy lights, and they initially put me off. But as I found out, Nextorch have really squeezed in so much value under the hood, and these lights actually have some real world usage as well. So firstly, with the LED, I did mention before, it's got that XHP50.2 LED under the hood. It's a very versatile LED capable of producing over 5,000 lumens. In this flashlight though, the LED is driven lower, produces 3,000 lumens, and I think that's better for increased runtime, sustained brightness, and just lowered heat. When you actually drive an LED at its maximum capacity, maximum amperage, it's just too much, and I found that on a couple of my other flashlights that just heat up too much, and you risk damaging the LED as well. So I do like the fact that they've achieved a very bright but realistic output for that XHP 50.2. There's a bunch of these red and blue LEDs under the bezel just in this section here. I'm not really sure what they are, you can't see them, but all I know is that they're surprisingly bright. The battery indicator, so these 4 little dots here, so these actually switch on as soon as you turn on the flashlight to be able to see at what point it is. So there's no kind of mucking around there, with any flashy lights to try to figure out what level it is. It's just got 4 there, full battery. If you got 3, it's, 75% to 50%. So pretty easy just visually to work out how much juice you have left in the cell. I really like these glass breaking beads on the bezel. This is a stainless steel bezel, which is a nice little addition for extra durability. And with these glass breaking beads, maybe you use them, probably you won't. But at the end of the day, I think it's just a nice little feature you see on premium flashlights, and perhaps someday you might have to use them to break a window, to get out of a car or something like that. So I think it's a pretty cool little addition on this flashlight. Do like the orange peel reflector as well, especially in this type of multi-purpose light. It's just more practical to use that way. And there's an anti-roll feature here, so this little knurling there, as you can see, kind of stops it from rolling, which I think is important because there is no clip on there as well. Usually the clip kind of drags and stops it from rolling, so this actually works quite well. The really cool thing, like I mentioned, is just the fact that you can unscrew the bezel and access that charging port. It's a very clean and watertight design, which I like, that there's no rubber ports or anything sticking out on the flashlight. One thing I tried to do was that I just tried to open and close the flashlight many times in different positions, environments, and stuff like that. And I've checked it, there's not even a speck of dust under there. So I'm pretty sure there's some type of seal under the head that stops the dust from entering the head of the flashlight. I think that's a great design, because even if you got a speck of dust in there, for some reason, that really bugs me. So glad that they've put some kind of seal mechanism in there. So I want to talk a bit about the UI now, and I'll just demonstrate what you have. So the cool thing is that you've got that momentary mode. You press that button halfway and super bright, okay? But if you press it fully, you basically go straight into the high mode, okay? And then you just tap that again to go to medium, medium, low. Okay, so high, medium, low. So actually when you switch it on, it starts on high, and then you tap again to enter the low mode, and then it goes right into turbo. So there's really only 3 modes on this flashlight, but it's just really useful and something that I don't see in many other like side switch flashlights, just being able to access this momentary mode using the side switch. So if you don't like those tail switch kind of lights that are used to access a type of tactical momentary mode, this might be the light for you. Another really cool feature is one-step strobe. And how do you access that, you might ask? There's this little button here. So you just press that little button and you're straight into strobe mode. And it's a variable strobe as well. It's quite disorientating. It's giving me a headache and turn that thing off now. But the fact that you can access full mode here, you know, turbo mode through that button, that large button, and then you've got the strobe mode here. I mean, you can't beat that, especially on a side switch flashlight. You know, having this 3 different ways that you can press this entire switch. So let me show you how to access all the auxiliary lights. So the little button, you just got to press and hold that, okay? And it starts off on this mode here where it flashes with the red and the blue lights. This kind of reminds me of those police buttons that are used. So this is not something I'm going to be using in public. It's just going to draw attention in a bad way. But if I needed to draw attention, for example, I don't know if I was lost or I was really needing to get help for whatever situation, maybe you could even, you know, leave it on a high place and kind of like as a signal light or something like that. I think that's really cool. So you also press the button again. When you press the button, you can access these other ones. This is like a red sort of flashy thing here. So again, it's like a signal light. So I was thinking of a situation, maybe I'm driving on the freeway, car breaks down, it's a pretty dark road, not many lights, could turn it onto this mode, which is kind of like a hazard type light. Maybe your car batteries have run out or something like that, and you can just put that on the back of your car and it will just flash, alerting anyone coming down the road, driving down the road, that you've broken down, to watch out for your car. So they're so bright as well, and I think, you know, there's this strip of material here just helps the light to diffuse out from that. Otherwise it is just too jarring to the eyes. So if you click again, you end up with this mode, which is, yeah, it's pretty much the same, just a blue flashy light. Okay, you know, I don't know if you use this as a hazard light. I'd probably just use the red one. And then again, you've got these 2 other modes where it just leaves the light on, so you've got just red. And, you know, maybe you are out and you want to just use the red light. You don't want the large LED there on turbo to just ruin your night vision, so you can have it on red. And red is pretty good for insects as well. Makes sure that you don't attract insects, any kind of like really warm light. And then of course you've got this option here where it just switches to the blue mode, so and holds, and then you click again and it just cycles in between. Now the really cool thing is that you can actually activate both at the same time. So you can have this auxiliary light on, and then you can also turn on the front of the flashlight. So, you know, maybe you could be signaling to people or something, and you could be using the flashlight at the same time. And all you have to do is turn it off, is just to click and hold that top little button, and press and hold again to of course activate it. So really, I think it's a really cool feature. As you can see here as well, you can kind of go back into it, and then while the light is on, actually activate 1-step strobe while the light's actually in another mode. So click that little button and deactivate it. So quite amazing. I mean, all the different features that you get in this light, and as you can see, these signal lights definitely can come in handy. All right, so let's talk a bit about the overall performance of this light, and I'll start with the ceiling bounce test that I have up on the screen. So as you can see from this graph, as soon as I activated the flashlight, it actually increases in output up until the 1 minute mark, where it starts to decline. So you get all the way down at about the 3 minute mark, and it just holds, okay, on about 25 to 30% of its overall brightness. But the really good thing is that this light can last for a minute on turbo, and you know, using those FL1 standards, it beats those FL1 standards. And for me, it gives me that reassurance knowing that I can have that turbo mode on for a significant period of time and use it before it starts to fade away. A lot of other lights, you'll find that they don't use the FL1 standards, and you know, lights will just start to dim straight away as you turn the flashlight on. Some of them very dramatically, it just dips very quickly to half its output within 10 seconds. So it's good to see that this light can actually hold its brightness. So I did some measurements on the throw using my lux meter, and I got 299 meters of throw. And Nextorch, for some reason, they always understate their throw figures, and this has happened with all their previous torches. Other reviewers have noted the same thing as well, and I think that's just really cool that kind of this under promise and over deliver situation. But I wasn't expecting this light to throw 300 meters, especially with this kind of LED in there, which is more of a floody LED. And as you can see from the ceiling bounce test as well, the light holds its overall brightness for that 1 minute mark. A lot of manufacturers, they may come across and say, hey, this light can throw 500 meters, 600 meters, and when you switch it on, yep, it can, but maybe it only throws that far and retains that output for about 1 to 2 seconds before it ramps down. So I also measured the color rendering index in the CCT, and the CRI was 74, and there's no surprises there. Nextorch chooses the brighter bins of LEDs that are more suited to visibility, not for color recognition. At the end of the day, when you're using these flashlights, you're using them for a particular purpose to actually illuminate an object effectively. So color recognition is not a priority in this particular situation, and for myself, I don't mind. It's not a big deal. CCT 7067, so it's a very cool white color, very bright white color. I think it's got a practical beam, mostly just flood with a large soft hotspot in the center. I'm also happy that Nextorch have continued using the 21700 cell in this flashlight, because with this XHP50.2 does draw a fair bit of current, and at the end of the day, a larger battery is just going to last you longer, so you have that extended runtime. Don't need to go, you can go longer between charges. So a couple of considerations that you guys might want to be aware of. This light is just pocketable, so I can fit it in the jeans pocket with no clip, but the head is a little bit uncomfortable and it is a little bit longer. So you can fit it in your pocket if you need to, but this is the type of light that's probably more suited if you have a holster of some sort, like a nylon holster on your jeans pocket, or even in the pocket of your backpack, something that you keep in your car or go camping, something like that. I think that's more suited towards that situation, because it doesn't come with a little pocket clip on it as well. So if you wanted to attach one, it'd be difficult. I mean, you'd have to sort of fit it around the battery tube here. It's possible, but again, I don't think it was designed to actually be carried in your pocket, more holstered or in a bag of some sort. Another thing to keep in mind is that the light does accept non-proprietary batteries, but you're going to need a button top 21700 cell for the added length. I tried some unprotected and flat top cells, and they're just too short to make contact with the end of the flashlight. You can get those button top 21700 cells pretty easily though. Nextorch do include one of their own batteries in this light when you buy it. Overall, this light reminds me of a modernized version of your classic flashlights. It kind of reminds me of one of those large flashlights that my dad had when I was a kid, except just a lot smaller with a ton of extra features and 10 times, 20 times as bright. I think it's one that you can rely on, something that, if you wanted a light to use around the house, it's very versatile. Even, you have that tactical momentary function there if you're taking it out, some signal lights if you're going on a road trip or you're going camping, something like that. I think this is really sturdy all-rounder flashlight, and I do recommend it. So make sure you check out the link in the description. I'll put a link to the Nextorch flashlight so you can find out a bit more. You can buy it from their website. If you have any other questions, do leave them in the comments. I may have missed things out in this video, and I'll do my best to get back to you. So if you like this video and you are enjoying my videos that have helped you out, do me a favor and click that like button. Helps me get my videos out to more people. And also, if you want to see me make more videos and better quality ones, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.